and welcome to the Dating Advisory Board. I'm your host, Jen Hecht. I'm so excited. We have a great show lined up for you today. We have the wonderful Bob London. Hey, Bob London. And Pamela Sorensen. Hey. I love it. And we have the same middle name, Lynne. And I never meet a lot of people with that.
Hear that.
Yeah, no. Lynne.
Fascinating.
So, I know, it's good. Well, let me get some background. We have a show, our show topic is how we can perfect our pitch in both business and dating. So from the chief listening officer himself. Mm-hmm. So Bob London is a strategic marketing advisor to CEOs and entrepreneurs. As CEO of Chief Listening Officers, he is 20-plus year expert in B2B marketing and customer insights. He is an entrepreneur in residence right here at the University of Maryland Dingman Center for Entrepreneurship and a mentor at 1776, which is a leading global startup incubator. Bob's work and writing has been featured in the Wall Street Journal, Miami Herald, Washington Post, and Bob is a frequent speaker and writer on topics related to his passion. The incredible, valuable insights that come from something shockingly simple, listening to your customers. And now we're going to translate that's from business and in dating.
I'll try.
Yes. You would.
What? What'd you say?
Yeah. What? I love it. And then Pamela Lynn Sorensen is a director of BD and community relations at Better World Telecom. She is a known influencer and former blogger at Pamela's Punch, which is founded in 2006 in the DC region. She played an integral role in the revenue stream growth and success of Net 2000 Communications. Yeah. So you mean being in telecom, you and I both know. I remember. Yep, slinging the phones. Oh, yes. And also Potomac Officers Club and Executive Biz. And also she helps with a lot of nonprofits in the area, the Colon Cancer Alliance, the Humane Rescue Alliance, National Cherry Blossom Festival, DC Kitchen. Mm-hmm. I mean, this is impressive. Refugees International, Trust for the National Mall, Leukemia Lymphoma Society, and the Red Cross. She's also been featured.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so... It's good.
You don't have to give it all.
I'll give it all. I'll get just a few. The stuff. She's been in all the posts and all of them. Washington.
This is going to take a whole 15
minutes.
I
was like, all right. Yeah, I mean, I'll have it all on my website. So make sure. But it's very, very inspirational. So thank you so much. And that's so important that you give back to the community and you do this. It's amazing. I love it.
Can I say something? I used to look at Washington Life magazine, and I used to dream about being one of those people who's at the parties and there are pictures there. And now I feel like I'm there now. Oh. I'm with that crowd. Both of you guys. Both of you. Look how well they're dressed. It's fantastic.
Thanks, Bob.
Yay.
Thanks, Bob. See, compliments. Yeah, we'll put it in the middle.
Compliments
I think
help.
There's another bell somewhere.
Compliments are good.
Compliments are good. No, but thank you.
Look great.
Yeah, you look great too, Bob.
I like that throwaway. No, I'm wearing like a Home Depot outfit.
No, it looks good. You're good.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, I'm back to my show.
Back to your show.
So let's talk about how we can perfect our pitch in business and how we can translate that into the dating world.
Okay.
So let's go.
Oh, was there a question?
Yes. So how can we perfect our pitch? Yes. How can we, I mean, because here's the thing. I know.
Show notes. This is not the show notes.
No, this is show notes. No, but then my thing is that because Bob goes in and he does coaching for connectpreneurs, people who are looking for seed money, right, for their company. And so he'll go in there and he'll take a look at what they're pitching, what their company is, and we'll use the DAB as an example in a second. But I wanted to talk about the background and why it's so important and how you created Chief Listening Officers.
Yeah. So thanks. Thank you for having me. Yeah, and I think that, so I've been in marketing executive for 20 years. Let's just round it down to 20 years. And I think that it took until about 5 years ago to realize that everyone is basically doing marketing the same way by promoting. And when everyone promotes and talks about their own product or themselves, it makes a lot of noise. And collectively, that noise keeps the customer from hearing anything. They can't hear anything through all this noise. And so that's where Chief Listening Officers came from, the idea that if we just take time to listen to customers, and it's certainly, as we all know, it applies in relationships, if we just take a little bit of time to listen without immediately switching back to our agenda, I've had great success with my clients, teaching them how to do that and doing that kind of work for them, so they can understand, oh, we thought we were good at this, and it's important to you in this area of your business, but you're telling us it is important, but it's important over here, and that's like a whole revelation for us that we can use to reposition ourselves. And so I don't know. I mean, obviously listening applies in a lot of important areas of life, but I think that I guess the analogy is when I said all companies are kind of out there marketing and spending money and having salespeople call people and all that. It's all good, but if everyone is pitching themselves, in the dating world, who's left to listen? Like everyone is just talking. And that was a heavy sigh. Wow.
Yeah, I was like, it really resonated. I was like, wow.
Well,
I mean,
like,
it's a very valid point. I mean, you hit it spot on. I mean,
I was looking for the bell.
Yeah, here.
Look, it's such a simple idea, and I think we all can see if anyone who's on Facebook, and anytime a word that is remotely political is written on Facebook, 1 million people pounce and give their agitated point of view. Instead of, I found that what's interesting is when if someone puts something and I'm curious. So I'll say, well, can you just tell me more about that? No, you're not going to listen to me. No, that's why I'm asking.
It's a
no one is
question.
used to anyone listening anymore.
Right.
No one's used to it. And that's what, if I could just, one person, one company at a time, that's my little change the world thing, is try to get people to listen. I mean, here I am talking, and I feel like, I've been talking too much. I should do more listening. Like, it's just an automatic thing now. In business, not at home. Home is different.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can listen to our cats. That's about as well as I can do. That's about as far as I can get. With kids and wife, it's a little harder, but we're, it's all good.
Yeah, it's all good. No. Well, the other thing is that, there was one piece of advice that you gave me a long time ago that you said, because a lot of it in sales, as you know, in telecom, like especially in phones, because we both do phones and other communication infrastructure, is that when you go in there, these systems can last 10, 15 years. I mean, obviously there's software updates, but the core infrastructure has, then you don't want to be that person, like, okay, sell it, and you don't talk to them. So Bob gave a great example of, why don't you do health checks with your clients? Because not a lot of people are actually going, salespeople, they're just picking up the phone calling, but are you going there and saying like, hey, how's it going? What are you doing with your business? Where, how are things going? What do you need improvement on? Because we all have very large networks. We all have subject matter experts in particular fields that we would trust to do a good job for our client, because we don't want to look bad, right? And so like going in there and having that lunch or having that meeting face to face, not a phone call, right? And finding out how, and it makes a difference.
I agree, and I've seen it a lot now, again, over the last 5 or so years, and customers are so delighted because if they know, and if it's authentic, that, hey, we just want to come find out about you. There's this old joke, I don't remember if it's Groucho Marx or Woody Allen, but he said, hey, that's enough about me. What about you? What do you think of me? Like, everything comes back to me.
Right.
So, and I know that happens in the dating world, because that in my creaky brain, I can actually remember that kind of thing. But it happens in business, and I think customers are so delighted to have someone just talk to them just for the purpose of finding out their perspective and not whipping out a proposal at the end of the conversation.
Yeah.
Like, everything they say, I'm going to figure out how to steer that towards my product. That world is going away,
Yeah, and I'm glad it is. Yeah, I hope it goes away.
I hope it's going away.
Yeah, I hope it's going away too. I mean, like, you can't try to push your product down if someone doesn't need it.
Right.
Right. I mean, because then you look bad, and just say, well, maybe it's not a fit now, but maybe down the road, and then referrals.
Well, I hope you guys will talk about this, but this piece that, how does it feel when you know someone's really listening to you in your personal life? How does that feel?
It's awesome.
Yeah. So why?
Well,
why don't people do that more often?
Like it's like active listening. I mean, are you hearing me, or
I'm talking about the real listening, where they don't try to anticipate your sentence and finish it and steer it back to, I've been to Vancouver twice, whatever.
Oh yeah, one-uppers, those are fun.
Right.
That's a good one. One-uppers.
One-uppers.
Yeah, not the best.
I'm
not
like,
the best.
oh, sit down. Sit down.
You bring that bell with you.
I do. I like to ring it a lot.
Well, I mean, I want to comment back to your point about we hope that is actually going away. It's true. I mean, getting back into telecommunications after years of being away from it, one of the things that my CEO, Jim Kennefic, had told me when I was making that choice to go into that industry again was, it's much more consultative now.
Yeah.
You're actually a part of their business. You're an extended arm. You are a consultant. You're
the
in there.
subject matter expert,
right? You're a
right?
subject matter expert.
Exactly.
You're listening. You're talking. You're figuring out the best possible solution. But even more on that, I mean, we're all humans. We're all people. I'm not going in and speaking to a machine. I'm not talking to a machine. I'm talking to a human being. And I have to care about that human being who's going to be that decision maker or part of that decision making process. And if I don't authentically actually listen and have a conversation, actually care about them, do my research on them, then I'm the one who's behind.
Right.
The people that actually do that, they're the ones that are ahead. So I think it's really important to.
That's a really good point. Yeah, I've been getting to know.
Strategy.
She mentioned her boss's name. She dropped her boss's name.
Yeah.
Just as a
Yeah, FYI. Yeah.
That was awesome.
That
If I had a boss, I'd mention his name too, or
Yeah.
hers.
Yes.
That was good.
Yeah. Steve Bennett, Bencom. Well, I'm technically supposed to be working right now, so.
You are.
You're working.
I'm working. No, I know, but anyway. So the other thing is that when you're talking about like listening to the customers, like, and you're going in there. My thing is for you, how are you advising them on how to listen and want to get feedback from that client, not say, oh, well, we don't do that, or do you ever run into that kind of situation?
Yeah. There really is, as it turns out, an art, and maybe there's a science too, but I'm just focused more on the kind of the qualitative type of listening where, first of all, the way you set up a conversation is very important. So I use with my clients, we send out an email and it just says, hey, we're kind of revisiting the way we're positioned in the market for the next few years. You're an expert in what you do. We would love your opinion and perspective on a few things, just unofficial. Like we're not asking for your company's opinion or position. And somehow that helps. And we get a very high response rate on those emails. And then, but it's like an event. The event starts when the invitation goes out, when people say, oh, so the email helps set it up. And then when you're talking to them, it's just it's like a conversation. It's not an interview. So, but when I talk to CEOs who are going to go listen, it's I think the hardest thing is to get them to realize, again, it's not about them, it's about the customer. So they really have to be they have to resist the urge to be defensive about any criticism, to jump on any sales opportunities, even like you can follow up later, and to keep steering the conversation back to, or being defensive, like, we tried to do that, but it was really expensive. No one cares. Your customers don't care if you tried and it was expensive to do it and that's why you didn't do it. They just want you to listen. And then you take the information and formulate an approach that makes sense for the next year or two.
Okay.
Yeah. But there's an art to it.
Yeah. What do you think?
Well, I think I have learned over the many years of not only just running my own business with Pamela's Pinch and being exposed to so many different people and so many different circles and industries, that, just to the point about listening and pitching, and pitching gives you it's such a bad word because it's automatically like, oh, I'm gonna throw something at you and you better just you better take it.
That's a really good point.
Yeah,
that's a great point.
And
that's good.
However, we pitch ourselves every day. We are in a position to give of ourselves. We are in a position to say, here's who we are and how do we all fit together. So whether it's dating or whether it's in front of a prospect or a client, or you're at a networking event or we're here, it is the best way that I can pitch myself is by asking you questions and then responding in a way that makes the conversation go better, and just really learning about you to set up continuous conversation. I think with people who go in and go, okay, I'm going to go on this date, or I'm going to go into this meeting and go, I'm just going to like pitch and I'm going to throw things at them. They're forgetting the most important part, which is asking questions and asking thoughtful questions and then listening.
Yeah. And just learning about their story. Right?
Yeah.
Learning about who they are, what do they like. Sometimes you get nervous and you verbal vomit everywhere. It's true. It's happened to me before.
Really?
Oh my God, yeah. I got nervous. Oh my God. It was like crazy.
Aww.
I did. I know. It was weird because I don't ever get nervous around. There's only
Is it a guy?
Yes. It was a date. Yes. I know. Anyway, I don't want to talk about it.
Oh, yes, it will.
Yeah.
But no, I agree with you as well. I love learning people's stories because it makes you human, it makes you real, it makes you fascinating, and it makes you relatable. And without that, without even asking that, without even like researching that, where are we? We're not robots.
Right. Well, it's amazing what people have gone through. Like, if you're listening to what they're saying, you're like, "Ooh, wow, how can I? I mean, I've had this happen, or I can learn from this person, right? I can learn. I don't want to do the same mistake that they did in business or in your personal life, right? You're covering the gamut there,
Right.
I have to confess that when it's not that major.
Oh.
Let's go to a commercial.
Yeah.
To a tease.
Yeah, actually, that's a good idea.
It's a small confession.
Okay, go ahead.
Just that. So the questions, that we're going to cover, how to perfect your pitch. I think that is. You actually said even the word pitch is kind of, it's not a negative, but it implies like I'm gonna give you my best shot, and you have to deal with it. And in the personal world, in relationships, I just think that why would we run and pitch ourselves first before we find out a little bit, not so we can customize our pitch to like, oh, you like snorkeling? I love snorkeling, even if you don't. I think like you're in a situation where you should be fact finding so that you can make a really good decision about what you're going to do in the next 10 minutes or the next hour or the next 20 years. And, it's just not good to be pitching, I think, that way in social life. In business, everyone wants all the customers they can get, so you're always kind of pitching. But I guess it's just another way of saying it's a two-way street, and you have to be judicious and, kind of not skeptical, but just like you have standards for people to meet.
Right.
And the only way you're going to find out if they meet your standards is the begining of it is listening and hearing what they have to say.
Exactly. All right. Well, we are going to take a quick break right here,
Oh.
and then when we come back, we got more on have you do my pitch, how I should pitch the dab.
Okay.
Maybe a connectpreneur, like what kind of tips and tricks that Bob can give me in his elevator rant. All right. Thanks so much. We'll be right back. Well, hello and welcome back to the Dating Advisory Board. I'm your host, Jen Hecht. I've got the fabulous Bob London here with me and the fabulous Pamela Sorensen. So we're talking all about how to perfect your pitch in both the dating world and in the business world. So, like we said earlier, so Bob goes in and he helps the different investor and companies that want to invest
startups
companies, especially at Connectpreneur, right? Tien Wong's event, and he'll help them perfect their pitch. So I said, hey Bob, well what about you give me some like elevator rant? Talk about your elevator rants.
Well, do you want to do the pitch first or the elevator rant?
All right, let's do the pitch first and then elevator.
All right. So Connectpreneur happens to be an event that where I help coach startups, CEOs and founders of startups before they go on stage. They have, I think, 4 minutes. So it's a very compacted time frame, and they have to figure out what they're going to say to a room full of investors and other, influencers, so that people will be interested in them as an investment. So this is really going to be a very human description, because I just think that's what gets lost is all like the personality and the humanity. So if I were you, I would get up. I wouldn't have any slides except like the logo is cool.
Okay.
Oh wait, where's the logo? And
Thanks.
I would have I would have, sorry, bless you. I can't not say bless you because that's just how I was raised. So, so I would get up and I would say, this is you saying it. I would say, ladies and gentlemen, for the last year, we have been exploring and discovered some amazing similarities between the world of business and the way people present themselves and build relationships and the world of dating. And we have created over, 150 episodes of a podcast that has become a real thing, has a real audience of a very desirable advertising audience of people between the ages of 24 to 48 or 54 or whatever. Apparently not me, I'm 55. And we are looking to grow it to the next level because we're being told it has so much potential. So we're looking to raise $500,000. And with that $500,000, we're going to hire someone to sell ads. We're going to hire this and that. And, I would love to talk to you about it after this presentation. Yeah. So, one of the funny things is people go, oh my God, only 4 minutes? I only have 4 minutes. You don't even need 4 minutes for the right pitch. And they show up, and this is to serve as advice. When we start the coaching, they show up and they have like 50 slides or even 30. Oh, geez. And you go,
no
you know
PowerPoint.
What? And it's very hard for them mentally to get the details out of it by cutting slides. And a lot of times I'll say, I would rather you start with a blank sheet of paper. What is the first thing you want them to know that they have to know? What is the second thing, the third thing, the fourth thing? That's 4 slides. We're done. Yeah, and don't give them more than they need. And then, unfortunately sometimes, and you see in the audience that people are checking their phones and whatever, they tune out when it gets to be too much detail. That's just how it is.
Well, I'll tell you, the ones that have really stood out who had there was the girl. Remember
we
them?
Talked about this on our last.
Yeah. No, this is not that one. I'm talking about the girl, the juice.
Jay Rank.
Oh yeah.
Drink.
Drink. Yeah. They rocked it.
Yeah.
She went up there, but here's why she rocked. She had everybody's attention. I looked around the room, and I saw nobody was on their phone. No, they were 100% zoned in, but because I don't even think she had slides. If she did, I wasn't paying attention to the slide. I was watching her person. She had a couple. But she was really good.
She had an amazing presence.
Like she brought her personality, and I think that
she commanded.
Well,
that
that's the other
issue. The other thing is she did not go behind the podium. She stood on the stage.
Yeah,
I like that.
I like that too. Like, hey, I'm out
people
here.
Are like, wow, I'm gonna look at her, because when a lot of times people get behind that podium and they could put up the slides, and everyone's like.
Yeah. I'm right there on Facebook.
Well, they're all those details, all those bullet points and details on the slides doesn't help.
No, you gotta like come with some personality, right?
Absolutely.
Come bring your personality, like practice it, like your jokes, or pretend you're on comedian or something.
Well, I think you would be a good person to pull that off, and you get up, like I said, you don't even need maybe any slides except the logo.
Yeah.
And just explain. What people also forget is, why did you start this business? You must have seen something that made sense to you, and you started talking. I know, and you talked to friends, and they were like, "That's a great idea." So that's your little sample size there, and people forget to talk about the inspiration behind it, which is
story.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because everyone's been there at some point in their life, right? If it's friendships or relationships and business or in personal, it's all applicable.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I think this is brilliant. I'd fund you.
Oh, okay. Well, remember that.
You heard it here first. Here, get her to sign this.
I know. Pamela.
$5.
Thank you. I will take it.
Here's my checkbook.
I love you. Oh my God, you're so funny. Okay, now when you hear about elevator rants.
Yeah.
So when you're going through the elevator, what do you say? Some of the top things that you want to come across in that 96 or whatever, 30 seconds, 90 seconds.
Well, the
Jacob.
Well, the elevator rant is the thing. This is the listening thing. Like, people always talk about, you just need to fix your elevator pitch and you'll be fine. You'll sell a lot more. And what that means is they're going to rehearse a different set of words that they would use in a hypothetical elevator or a real elevator. And they're going to just rehearse it. And then when they're on the elevator or whatever in front of someone, they'll just say, we are a national solution provider that does, disruptive technology and blah, blah, blah. So what's missing is, how does that relate to what I call the elevator rant? What is that other person thinking at that moment about the problems they're dealing with in their day. So you have to know the elevator rant in order to do the elevator pitch correctly.
That's a good point.
So you start, and there's a lot of examples, but one that comes to mind is 5 years ago, T-Mobile was the fourth place in the wireless carriers, and they have been on a 5-year winning streak, like with customer acquisition. The stock price has outperformed everybody. And the reason they did so well was, first of all, the CEO was brand new. He couldn't get a straight answer from his team about what was wrong. So he went out and he listened. He put on like a customer support headset and listened to call center calls.
Yeah,
like
I know all about that.
Yeah, 6 nights in a row. And what he found out was people hated contracts. They didn't like being held hostage.
Interesting.
So that was their whole campaign for like 2 years. So instead of having his elevator pitch used to be, T-Mobile is a national long distance provider that has high quality service and great 24/7, whatever. It became, hey, you know how you hate contracts and you're being held hostage? Well, we've done away with them. And that's how you do an effective pitch, is you start with the thing that they're already either happy about or angry about or whatever.
That's a really good idea.
So that's my answer.
I like it.
I love it.
What do you think?
I mean, I completely get that, because I feel like we assume so much about, well, okay, these people, this company, this business, this industry, I know what they are feeling because I feel that that's what they're feeling. So I'm going to make up that elevator rant for them.
Right.
But what we don't do is we don't go in and actually really do what the CEO did, is really hear.
Yeah.
Like, listen.
And they were
And
angry.
it's painful.
Yeah.
Because you know what? Maybe we don't want to know, because if we don't know, we won't cry,
Right.
or we won't get upset, or we won't. But what if you don't know? You can't help yourself.
Can't
Yeah, you can't
fix
get
it.
better. You
Yeah.
can't get better. How are you going to grow? Like, that's why we talk about how important personal
Right.
advisory boards in your dating life, and then
Yeah.
business boards. Well, I want to come back. I mean, that's really one of the main reasons I created the dating advisory board, because a lot of people say, well, I've lost friends after, if a relationship ends or over time or whatever, because you're basically splitting apart, your life apart. And so, like, how do you start anew? And you may not have that support system to say, hey, here are your weaknesses and here are your strengths.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
You need it, because how are you going to personally grow as a person? And then
Well, what
that
is-
affects the business too.
How does that work in real life, in personal relationships? Do you have to already know that the person is going to be receptive, or do you just say, well, I don't care if they're ready or not, I'm just going to tell them, because that's how badly they need this advice.
Well, that's why we're trying to work. We're coming up with we're going to come up with a system to help you create your own advisory board, and it's coming soon.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
Oh, I love that.
So we will be doing it. So stay tuned for that. But I think that's so important, because a lot of the people say, well, how do you do it? How do you build your board? How do you know who you should have on your board?
I mean, I started mine a long time ago, and the funny thing is I have some of my friends call them kitchen cabinets.
No, yeah.
But I just call them mentors.
Yeah.
And as I look back on who those mentors are and how many times I invite them to something, or I have dinner with them, or I pick up the phone and call them, or I text them, or whatever, whether it's personal or professional, over the course of like 20 years, the weird thing is, Jen, they're all men.
Yeah.
And I have some really good girlfriends from whom I ask advice on, but the challenge is, it's like, they have gone on to be married and have kids, and they can't really relate to my situation in the same
That's
way.
interesting.
So I feel like, even though there are some that have been there with me for the really long time, as we move and ebb and flow through our journeys of our lives, then it's okay to kind of find other sources to be, or resources to be, that advisory board.
Yeah.
That's a great example.
Yeah. I love it.
Because if your advisors are all people either just like you or they've been just like you, they may not have a broad enough perspective.
Yeah.
And you're getting advice from people, that could give you, that other perspective.
Right.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
You have to
No,
be
that's
pretty.
good.
I admire that a lot, Pam. I mean,
Pamela.
Sorry. Pamela.
Okay.
Never call me Pam. I'm like,
No,
never
no,
never call me Pam.
No, Pam.
Are we going to get past that, or do we have to go to a break? Or Pamela, I admire that. I was giving you a compliment. I admire it because I think you have to have a lot of strength to ask for feedback, or to be open to what other people are saying. It's not easy. You can see most of the world doesn't do it.
I'm like a sponge. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, give me the information. Yes.
And then I think it's really important too, when you get that information, you're not like, okay, I will do exactly what this person told me to do, but rather let me marinate it. Let me figure out how in my own world, in my own life, in my own style, will I be able to incorporate little bits and pieces of that.
Yeah, and turn it into like how I can, like what works for me. Like it may not be verbatim, right? But like how does this apply?
No. Yeah,
And
it's
it
always
has
up to you to filter it. And
filter it,
I like
yeah,
the marinade
like,
word is good.
Yeah, the marinade.
Hungry.
Yeah, now I'm hungry too. All right, so when we talk about on the dating side, I mean, I've had this conversation with a lot of our friends about how people are saying it's very difficult to date in DC. So, and this is going to tie into like worst date stories. So what do you think?
Right.
All right.
I've
So what
been
do you think?
preparing for this.
Yes.
You can-
I would
love
like to say
Oh God.
that first of all,
kidding.
where is it easy?
Never.
And by the way, it will be challenging no matter what. Okay, so listen, you know, when you're in your 20s and your 30s and your 40s, it's a different type of dating pool. It's a different type of dating world. And as you get older and more mature, your choices become a lot different. And I don't care where you are. I think it's always about like, how do you treat yourself in a healthful way? How do you treat yourself with respect? How do you surround yourself with good people? How do you make smart choices and not dumb choices over and over and over again? And it's really about figuring out, okay, one, who am I? Am I good with who I am? Knowing myself and what I'll put up with. Because nobody sitting across the table from you is going to be perfect because you're not perfect.
No.
But what you're willing to kind of give and bring into your life at that particular time. And I mean, I know for me, like right now, dating is not really a priority because I'm on this even keel of my work and my life and my health and my family and my friends and my Fraser, Simone, my dog. But I've been afraid, and I admit it. I'm afraid that even keel of that boat will be tipped over if I begin to divert my attention and my energy towards another human being that could possibly, or many human beings that could possibly be a partner in my life. And I think eventually when I get to a point where I'm comfortable that I'm like, okay, I'm the captain of this ship, but the ship is it's going on its own.
Right.
I'm going to start dipping my toe into that ocean.
Yeah.
And,
Into the
I
pond.
love that.
Yeah, I love that.
Into the thimble.
Yeah. Stop it. The thimble of DC. Oh God. No, but you know what? I love that you said that because so many people would say, "No, Pamela, you need to be dating. You need to get out there. You need to do this." Well, no, she's not ready. You can't push somebody. You know, they need to be ready. And I always say, like, especially if you get out of a long-term relationship or you were in one, like, you need to take some time to do your self-reflection because if you're that reflection in the mirror isn't on point, how are you going to be good in a relationship? Right? I mean, it really kind of depends. But like, if you're good with it, I mean, if that's what you want, that's what you want, and nobody can get mad at you about it.
No. And I feel like there are so many people now in this world that and who are my friends or in my community that are like, okay, you got to get on this app and you got to like do all of these things so you can get exposed to as many men or women or whomever as possible, because that's your shortest way to not being alone.
Right.
Well,
right.
And let's fast track to not being alone. And along the way, you're being miserable or you're having these horrible experiences. You're not feeling good about yourself. And I don't want to do that. I don't feel like that's a good passage for me.
Well, and also, how do they know what's going on in your head? Right? You're gonna say, well, you're not happy. You're not this, that. You know. Well, are you in my head? No, you're not in my head.
I like it.
Yeah. No, I mean. No. So, but what would you say? Have you heard of or been like what's a crazy dating story?
I mean,
I'll share a good one.
Number one. This better be filled with vodka if I'm going to be telling that story.
Okay,
or those
well,
stories. I'm joking. But there are many, and there are with breadth and with depth, and I don't want to put it. I want to be negative. I don't like being negative.
Negative Nancy's. We
dirt.
all know that.
But we want dirt.
I will give you a real quick story for the last date I was on last year.
Oh God.
I found out that he does not like dogs because his dog ran away from him when he was 12 and died, and so he had like abandonment issues. And then he mentioned to me during the dinner that. I know 40-something-year-old women like you who feel like their dog is their child, and I usually date 25-year-old, and he was like 50-something, And I'm like, why am I even on this date?
Yeah, well, I would have
right,
just
okay,
left.
you
I would
don't
have
like
just been like,
dogs, you don't like
bye,
me.
Felicia.
And then, but then actually it was, I could have got, I'm like, oh my gosh, I could be like that person in the movie where they take the martini, like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then I'm like, no,
Right.
that's alcohol abuse. I should
Yeah,
just drink that
just keep
anyhow.
peeing. That's just-
and I was
yeah.
like, I kind of want to hear the rest of this guy.
Oh, I would have
giving.
I would have messed with him.
He ended up telling me some explicit details of his escapades with other women.
Oh, boy.
And then I'm like, am I like your guy friend that you're telling these stories?
He did
to?
ask you on a date, right?
It was our first date.
Okay. Okay.
And it was
Very-
okay. So Jen, I cried on the way home
Aw.
because I was like, why did I expose myself to such a horrible situation?
And negative Nancy.
And everything was very negative, and I felt really badly about myself. And two, I'm like 2, 5, 8, 10. It made me realize I'm like, I'm not ready. I'm not ready for being in this particular situation. And this is before. I mean, this is when I'm still working for myself, and I wasn't really happy anyhow at that particular moment in time. And I'm like, I need to like take a step out. So I actually think that person in my mind. I'm
Made
like,
a
"Thank
negative into
you.
a positive. I like it."
You helped me get to a point of going, I need to do something different and I need to pivot. And so in a way, I think it was a gift.
Yeah.
I think that's a very
That's-
inspirational
It's
story.
very inspirational.
Pamela.
Yeah. I would
No,
have
I do.
totally have
seriously.
left. I would have been like, excuse me, I gotta go to the restroom. And I would have left.
But that's the thing. But like, there are people who would have sat there
No.
in your shoes and said, well, he's successful, so maybe I should keep, kind of suck it up for a while and see where this goes or whatever. You have a lot of self-respect.
I love it.
Thank you.
You did a good job.
Thank you.
I know. Wherever that guy is, he's probably karma always comes. Dating karma.
Oh, so you didn't set him up with Jen?
No. Oh, I would you wouldn't get past 1 minute. I would have been a Michigander coming out.
Michigan. Love that.
Seriously. No, don't say. I mean, could you imagine? I couldn't imagine. You wouldn't do that in business.
No.
Are you kidding me? No. I mean, and
No.
think about it. It's dating karma.
Oh, wait a minute, though. I mean, people say all kinds of, I'm not
I've
talking
got
about sexist,
customers.
but yeah, I mean, people, in business, you have to do business with people you might not spend time
I'm
with
not
in your
talking about
personal
that.
life.
I'm talking about like if that guy was your customer.
Yeah.
If he was the customer,
Yeah.
and then he's just like, well, I've got all these other, other vendors
Yeah,
that
right.
want to take over your business, and they're better than you. Why would you stay? And
No.
I've had that. I've got like, I don't know, 250 now in DC clients. I had this one. I mean, they were one of my biggest clients, and he was just mean. Yelling at our technicians. It was unbelievable.
It's bad for morale.
Yeah, I mean, I was like, I just sent it to service. I was like, I'm not even dealing with it.
You're like, la, 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 la,
No,
la, la, la.
I was like, I don't even want to hear it. Like, I mean, it was just like, oh, they did this. I said no, and I said, oh, you'll have to call service. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I feel like the angry, sometimes
Yeah.
those angry customers are probably the people who have something really bad going on in their home life.
Yeah,
that
that's
they
usually
are
what
going to
happens. Like,
give it.
it's
They're going to
clear.
hand it over. They're like, oh, good. I'm going to give it to this vendor because.
Yeah, it's like kick the dog syndrome, right?
yeah.
I mean, absolutely. And it's just horrible because I see it a lot too. It's like, oh, when people get nasty and they say mean things, the negative Nancy's I call them, that'll say hurtful things to me. It's not about me. It's about them.
Right.
Right? You know?
Right. And you have to have that, like the Wonder Woman bracelet.
Yeah. Like, seriously.
You can't hurt me.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm going to start wearing those.
I am too. I saw them on my friend Veronica the other day. I want to get it. Yeah, I'm serious. I'm getting all my
Yeah.
girlfriends. Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
Yeah. I love it. Because we are. Okay, sorry, Bob. All right, Bob.
Left third
you can
wheel
have
over
one.
here.
No, you
Superman.
can.
Third
Superman.
wheel.
Superman.
No, it's fine.
No, that's fine.
I don't need bracelets.
I don't need bracelets. But, I've got a few more minutes. But, I want to talk. So how can people get a hold of you and tell us some of the stuff you're working on?
Yeah, so www.chieflisteningofficers.com. On Twitter @chief_listener. And, if anybody's interested in the business side of listening, on the website, there's so I'm a big believer in kind of like open sourcing all the stuff that I do so that more people will do it.
Yeah.
And then hopefully some percentage of them may need help from me.
And you
So
should
if
hire him.
So if you go to chieflisteningofficers.com/free, or there's a link at the top in the navigation that says ebook.
Mm-hmm.
There's a 12-page. It's very specific details, the entire process of how to set up kind of a listening tour I call it the magical listening tour, with your customers and prospects, and what questions to ask, how to listen, what to watch out for, how to know when you hear something important. So that's kind of like, and I am writing a book, a real one.
Nice!
Oh.
Woo!
Yeah.
Yay, Bob!
Well, I'd be a little more excited, except it's been delayed several times. But it's all good. It's on the right track now.
Okay, good.
And until that book came out, I thought, well, let me just put some of the basics in this ebook. So there it is.
Awesome.
There it is.
Yay. All right, so make sure you follow Bob and Pamela. What's some of the stuff you're working on? How do people get in touch with you?
So on Twitter, Pamela's Punch, Instagram, Pamela's Punch, because that's my over 10-year-old brand, personal brand and professional brand. The website is www.betterworldtelecom.com, because I am still working with them. That's my main focus. And I guess some of the things that I'm working on, really, besides business development for the company, is, we talked a little bit about giving back, and community relations is part of my responsibility. And what we're going through kind of like a refresh of where we're going to be focusing our giving back of our time and our talent and our treasure. And I think really empowering women, as well as helping the environment and also inner city kids and through STEM and things of that nature. So those that are underserved, who don't have a voice, really, we want to be able to help for sure.
And your company has a mission, right?
Oh yeah,
In other
we're
words,
a certified B Corp. Right?
Yeah, I mean, that's again another very admirable thing that a lot of companies don't think they need to do, and maybe they don't, but it's nice when a company breaks through and does that.
Yeah,
That's awesome. Oh, you guys are so awesome. I cannot believe how fast the hour went. I mean, this is crazy. I know. Well, everyone, thank you so much for tuning in. And don't forget to follow both Pamela and Bob on their social channels, and you'll see it here in a second. And make sure you tune in next week, where we have Dr. Darcy Sterling. She is esteemed therapist and host of E! Entertainment's Famously Single, as well as,
You're going national.
I
You better get your pitch ready for Connectpreneur.
I know. I think I am. I'm talking to Tian.
Sorry, I'm sorry.
That's
Darcy
right. Yeah,
Sterling.
Darcy. And then May McCarmo, founder and CEO of Tiger Lily Foundation and best-selling author and speaker. And Eve Monica, president of Sip with, I know,
love Eve.
Yes, Sip with Socialites and Love Readings by Eve. So make sure you check her out on Instagram. She does love tarot card readings.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's pretty good.
I came on the wrong week.
It's pretty good. Yeah, well, we'll do them live next week. So anyway, have a great week, everyone. Take care.
Bye.
All right, see ya.
Bye. You're
Bye.
awesome.